But I really want to thank Blanche for opening her doors to allow Redefining Black Power to come here. It really is such a privilege and an honor. You look around, you know, Malcolm X and Dr. King and James Baldwin and Sojourner Truth and Marcus Garvey. You know, these are the people, the real building blocks, which has allowed me to be able to do a work like this.
I think that it's a little bit of a mythology that when we change presidents that everything becomes different. Conditions in our communities haven't changed, period, in the last 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50, in some places 70 years. So in terms of, you know, subpar education, poor economic opportunity, police violence, like those kinds of things are the core issues in our communities, and they've been the core issues in our communities. I remember, I think it was actually John Kerry. I was doing electoral organizing back in 2004. Was that Kerry? Mm-hmm. You know, I forgot. But I forgot because I was doing electoral organizing, and I remember the the local Democratic Party was coming to me like, you got to get people out to vote for Kerry. And I was like, no. They're like, how do we get into McClymonds High School, which is where I was at the time? And they were like, you get into McClymonds High School by being in McClymonds High School before you want something.
I think that our problems could be solved if we just took our kids back. And I don't necessarily feel like taking our kids back is necessarily about money. I think that's another smoke and mirror trick that's been pulled on us to think that we can't educate our own children. We didn't have money when we were educating our children before. Why we need money now?
You know, Hodari makes the point, you know, we're saying we want to reclaim our youth. We want to make it better for our youth, that we don't want there to be another generation that has to deal with the problems and the issues of poverty and a lack of education and all those kind of things. What is it? I'm going to throw it out to you guys. You know, what is it that's stopping us from ending that?
Because we're operating in ignorance. We're always starting at the beginning as opposed to moving forward, seeing what strategies have already been applied and didn't work. It's so often that we are retouting strategies that were already proven to be false or already proven to be unsuccessful. So, you know, part of it is like our ability to come up with new strategies is being aware of what happened in the past. That's what the rich legacy of Marcus Books is about. I mean, and you know, it's not, and to come back to Marcus real quick, because sometimes you buy one book, you read your book, you read the whole thing, maybe you read like 4 chapters.
But you
put it on your shelf so other people see that you read that book.
Yeah. But you don't go out and share
but you're
what
not
you read
like,
in that book.
You may talk about the book, but what good is the book on your shelf? Like, give up the book. Buy classroom sets of books. You know, there was a time when we used to buy boxes of books from Marcus Books, not one book at a time. You see how I'm shouting it out, right?
So I'm really grateful to live in Oakland. I'm not from Oakland, but I'm really grateful because, like Mama Ayana said, we come here, and truthfully, this was just, you know, anybody could have been sitting up here on this panel, because there's wisdom that's been shared all throughout this evening and all throughout this room. And that's just one of the unique and wonderful things about Oakland. I love the fact, it frustrates me sometimes, but I love the fact that you just can't be a leader in Oakland. Like the brother said, you just because you got some money or a position or you sitting in the front of the room, that's just not how Oakland is. And so I appreciate that, and I love it.
Thank you so much. Dereca Blackmon, spiritual activist, Hodari Davis, program director at Youth Speaks. Thank you both so much. A time comes when silence is betrayal. That was Dr. Martin Luther King from 1967. History, said Malcolm X, is a people's memory. And without a memory, man is demoted to the lower animals. History arms us with knowledge, context, foresight. It helps us understand the struggles of the past and empowers us to script our own future as free and determined human beings. As I write, a new memorial in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is being officially dedicated in Washington, D.C. Above the stone statue and the sound of the crowds and speeches, I cannot help but hear Dr. King's own voice ring out, "Silence is betrayal." Words that continue to resonate so loudly decades after he uttered them during his renowned Beyond Vietnam speech. Have we been too silent?